Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. I'm going to be doing a series of videos to try to educate and to let those people who have such fear about what's going to happen when Trump becomes president, um, to let them know what can be done, the procedures that need to be followed, and how to best protect themselves. Uh, I've done other videos on the subject, and I get lots of, comments that are, very nice. Thank you for the video, thank you for explaining, and I get also ones on the other end as well. Things like, send them all home. We don't need them here. Get rid of the criminals. Things like that. And I've had ones that have essentially said, "Do your research and find out all he wants to do is deport ones with crimes." But the actions and the information that has come forth doesn't really comport with that statement that so many people are saying that all Trump's going to do is just go after the criminals. Because, for example, he has specifically stated that once he becomes president, DACA, the Dream Act, Dreamers, depending, what acronym you want to use, will no longer be in effect. It was created through an executive order, and it will be repealed through an executive order. A little 5-minute writing of the pen, and it's gone. Now, with some very few exceptions, everybody who's on DACA has no criminal history. So, why would there be a repeal of DACA if all Trump wanted to do was deport the people with crimes? Also, you might have heard, for example, in Los Angeles, Charlie Beck said he's not going to use his police force to, help round up tons of people who are here illegally. Um, and then, basically Trump's team's response was, well, they're going to stop giving federal aid to cities who have been referred to as sanctuary cities. What does that mean? Um, if it was just a matter of getting persons with criminal histories, rather than rounding everybody up and being used as a quote sanctuary city, then why the threat to stop the federal funding? In addition, when you really look at it, immigration is a federal law. It's dealt with by federal employees, and they're asking state employees to essentially just start rounding up people who are here illegally. Well, how do they determine that? What do they do? Do they go into all the people who are driving cars and start profiling, saying, well, that person looks like they are here illegally, so I'm going to ask them for their documents? Then of course you get into all kinds of constitutional issues. So essentially, the policy of trying to stop giving federal funds in order to, force a city to round up people who are here illegally is tantamount to saying violate, the person's constitutional rights in order to first profile them and then determine if they are here illegally. Obviously, if one was a U.S. citizen, a lawful permanent resident, a non immigrant, legally on a visa, they can't just stop them and say, well, show me your papers that you're here legally. Okay. So, given that, I think there's going to be quite a few court battles that will be coming up in the future if, in fact, for example, federal funding stops for what Trump believes are sanctuary cities. Now, there's been a great deal of fear as to what happens when Trump becomes president. Okay. And so, given that, I'd like to just talk for a minute or so about what you want to do and don't want to do if ICE, which is Immigration's Customs Enforcement, they are actually the ones that deal with getting the people who are here illegally and initiating the removal proceedings. What you want to do. So let's say you're at your door. You just in your house having breakfast. Knock comes on your door, and sure enough, it's a nice official. Well, what they're going to do is they, are basically going to put you in handcuffs, and you'll end up going to detention. Not that this happens all the time, but if they have information that you're there illegally, whether it's through a crime or whatever it is, they have the right to try to begin removal proceedings, which that usually begins with putting you in detention. So when you're in detention, ICE officials are going to visit you, and they're going to say stuff like, you have no chance, you're going to be here for 20 years. They know all the tricks and trades and this and that, and that all you have to do is sign this little paper they're presenting you, and everything will be fine, no problem. Um, the issue with that, however, is that's not true. And what you are signing is a voluntary deportation, where basically, you're giving up your right to fight your case in front of an immigration court, and they can then deport you after you sign that. So first things first, do not sign anything. Okay. um, Whatever they put in front of you, don't sign. You can be tactful about it. You say, oh, sorry, I heard an immigration attorney state that I don't have to sign it, so I'm not going to. I just want to go in front of the judge. And then they can't force you. Again, no matter how strenuously they insist you sign it, you don't have to. There's no reason to, because minus some exceptions, you have a right to fight your case in immigration court. Okay. So then the next question you're going to ask is, well, how long do you have to be in detention? Well, first of all, if you did not just get transferred from criminal jail to immigration detention, even if you have a past crime, then you're not subject to mandatory detention. And during the first hearing, what we would do is we would then do what's called a bond redetermination hearing, which sometimes it's the judge will issue it on your own recognizance. Sometimes it's 1,500, 3,000, whatever it is. You'll get the bond paid, and then you can fight your case outside of detention. Okay. So those are the two big things I want to convey in this video and make sure you understand. Don't sign anything. And if you're in detention, don't worry. Minus some exceptions, you will be able to do a bond redetermination hearing, so you can fight your case while being released and free. Okay, if you like the video, click like, subscribe. Go ahead, give your comments, positive or negative, as I have seen. And we'll have more videos in the coming weeks. Thank you.